Hello my friends and welcome to Flying Circus Models. This is the second part of my current Caudron G.III project. Both cockpit halves were glued to the floor and I glued the bottom part of the fuselage. I didn't paint a lower part of the control stick because anyway it will be overpainted when I will paint the fuselage in the base color. I put some sponge to cover the interior of the cockpit and glued the lower wing. The next step is to remove some other parts from the sprue, such as cabin struts, tail parts, etc. Then I had to clean them, and as you can see, all parts have the lines from the molds, so I had to remove them as well. After cleaning up all parts that have to be wooden, I painted them with the base beige color. And the paint in wood process started. Same as usual with oil paints, I used raw sienna color and flat dry brush. This process is the reason for the delay with the episode, because it takes a lot of time for oils to dry, and because there are a lot of wooden parts. I spent some time just waiting without any progress on the build. Once the oil dried, finally I covered all wooden parts with the layer of feature. The top wing consists of 3 parts and has a very interesting stitching. To make it more realistic, I had to drill holes in plastic, and I used 0.2 mm drill bit for it. Because there are a lot of holes to drill, it took some time to complete the process. All 3 parts of the top wing were glued together, and I used Mr. White putty to cover part joints. After putty dried, I used 400 and 600 sandpaper grit to sand it. The whole model, fuselage with lower wing and upper wing, were covered with Mr. Surfacer 1500 primer. After, everything was painted in Mr. Color Sales color as a base for linen. Because this model has clearly visible ribs on its wings already in plastic, I decided not to mask them and just highlight with a bit darker colors. I mixed Vallejo beige and leather brown colors approximately 50-50, and with a freehand airbrushed every rib on wings and fuselage. The engine cowl was painted black and then covered with aluminum color. Same was done with other metal parts on the plane. After, the whole model was covered with the layer of feature to protect the paint and to be prepared for decals. But before decaling, I did the stitching on the top wing. I used the same nylon beading wire as I use for rigging. The process is very simple, and I applied some drops of super glue to hold the wire in the middle of stitching process. Here's the final result of that cross-stitching. And here is the actual decaling process. I used microset salt solutions to make decals softer, and they are wonderful. Even though wings have ribs, I decided not to paint around national marks and just apply decals, because they are very thin, and with solutions they easily took the wing's shape. Yes, I spent some time removing air bubbles, but the result is great. This model doesn't have a lot of decals, just national marking on the engine cowl and serial numbers on both tails. The last thing was to cover all decals with one more layer of feature to protect them. As usual, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, press like button and leave your comments below. I read and reply to all of them. Also, if you would like to support my channel, you can do it on Patreon, where you can see my videos early and I share some interesting pictures there. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episodes.